Welcome back everyone to the Hello World guys. This is another episode of the SFML Dojo game series, and in this video we are going to make a game score, high score scoring system for our game, because currently we have got like we know the score of the game, but we currently do not have any way of taking that score and storing it so that we can tell the player what his high score is. So that's what we are going to do in this video. So first of all, I'm going to go here where we are adding a bunch of text here, and I'm going to basically copy and paste the whole score text one here again, and this is going to represent our high score text. So you can say it's something like high score text, and in here I'm going to set the text to be something like high score and then say :20, and this is just an example value here, and we'll actually set the correct value later. You'll be depending on what the high score actually is. So we are going to set the character size to something like 35, a bit smaller, and let's go ahead and divide the origin by 2 because we want this width to be exactly in the center, and then we are going to set the position to be 400 to position it in the exact center of the screen on the x-axis. Then for the y-axis we are going to also do a similar thing which we did not do for our previous ones, but this time instead of width you want to take height, which will divide it by 2, which makes sure that the y-axis is also in the center, and then we are going to set the position to be 300, which means it will be in the exact center of the screen, since our screen is 800 by 600. But we can actually change it to something like 400, let's say, and obviously you want to change all of these score text to high score text instead of just score text. And once you have done that, we can go down here and we can draw the high score text as well. And by the way, a small problem remains, which is that this bounds need to be high score text as well, which was currently just score text. So just make sure it's high score text as well, and let me just start the game and see what happens. So as soon as the game starts, what you should see is that it does work, but our high score is a bit too close to this press enter to restart. We want this to be a little farther away. So in order to actually accomplish that, we are going to let's go ahead and just to make that height just height, so that the origin is at the at the bottom, and then we are going to make the position be something like 500, or actually 550 or 20, let's say, which will position it somewhere low, almost on the bottom of the screen, which is pretty awesome. So let's try that out, and you can see it says says high score 20 at this part of the screen. Now we are going to change something here, which is that we are going to increase the size to something like 50, since that seems a lot better, because that was a bit small for a size 35. And let's now start the game, and yeah, you can see it says high score 20 in quite a nice manner. Now that is pretty awesome. So with that done, now we are going to actually go ahead and try to make this score be displayed correctly instead of just displaying a random number like 20. So in order to make that high score display better, so what we are going to do is essentially just add another variable up here called high score. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to go down to line 93 around, because this is where we are doing the game over stuff, where we are doing this background filling, and in here I'm going to add a separate line here, and we are going to check if our score is greater than high score, then we are going to set score to be high score. Or we can actually do it more concisely. We can do it more concisely by saying score is equal to, depending on whether score is greater than high score, we can use a ternary operator. If the score is greater than high score, then we are going to set it to score, else just the high score. And by the way, this needs to be high score, not score. So if we are going to get the high score, and if the score is greater than the high score, then we are going to set the score to be high score, or else we are just going to keep it at the previous high score. And we can actually do it even more concisely by using an function called std::max, which returns the larger values out of two values, when we can provide it with score and high score. So yeah, you can see that happens really quickly, and we don't need to add these white space anymore. So in here where we are drawing the high score, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say high score text dot set string, which is going to set the actual text that's going to be displayed, and I'm going to say high score plus, and then we are going to go ahead and say std::to string, and here we are going to do score, actually not just score, high score actually. So yeah, this is essentially going to make the high score display correctly. So let's start our game to see what actually happens. So by default, the high score should be 0. You can see that is 0, and it says that the high score is 0. But if I, for example, create a score of, let's say, 8, and then you can see it says high score is 8. But if I then if I am out at 0, then it still says high score is 8. But if I keep going and the score keeps increasing until it's higher than 8, so it's like 11, 12, 13, so you can see that the high score is updated. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. But obviously this will reset as soon as we restart the game for now. So if I restart the game, then the high score will reset. So that is something we are going to do in the next video. In the next video we are going to use a file system to actually do that correctly, so that the high score is kind of stored between game sessions. So that's what we are going to do in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe for that, and stay tuned for that as well. And I will see you in the next one, and share this video with other people, and bye.